Greetings, everybody. This is Harmonics speaking. I want to take a moment to explain my soul harmonics technique. I've been practicing different modalities for many years, and as you may know, I'm also a QHHC quantum healing hypnosis therapy practitioner taught by Dolores Cannon via the online method, and I do practice her method. But Dolores said you don't have to give up your other modalities just because you become a QHHC practitioner. And the other issue with QHHT is it is past life regression is a big part of it, and a lot of folks don't believe in past lives. So QHHT unfortunately leaves out that segment of the population who does not believe in past life regression. Also, QHHT cannot be done remotely; it must be done in person. And because of YouTube and who I am and my subscribers, I deal with a lot of people who need help and they can't simply hop on airplane and come see me, or they can't afford me for me to fly out to them. So I continue to do my what I call remote healing that I've been doing for many years. But now that I'm a certified hypnotherapist, I can take my what I've been doing for years and make it more effective. In other words, because I can take a client into a deep state of hypnosis and where they're a little more relaxed, a little more receptive, and they can experience these healing methods much better. Also, the soul harmonics technique for somebody who's, you know, meditates a lot, has an active imagination, and they're in that state of mind already, start to finish, it can be done in 1 hour. For folks who are new to this, it will take a couple hours, but it still is much shorter than the 4 to 5 hour Dolores Cannon method. I will say that the Dolores Cannon method, QHHT, is far superior, and I definitely recommend that technique over any other technique out there that I'm aware of. It's highly effective, it's very easy, it's simple, provides great healing, provides a lot of answers. It's just, it's a truly beautiful method. Um, and again, there's also a price break there. Not everybody can afford a QHHC session because of all the time involved. The price is a little bit higher. So by doing the soul harmonics technique, I can drop the price in half, and the time in half, or more than in half. um, and I can do it remotely. It's perfectly ethical. Um, so with that said, let me go ahead and explain a little bit about what the soul harmonics technique is. So it begins with hypnosis, so you can get in the proper state of mind. And I want to thank a friend of mine who's also been a client of mine. Asked her to draw these drawings for me, and she has drawn them. And what happens is, if it's remote, um, the client's over here, wherever in the world, and I'm over here. And before the session even begins, I create with my higher self what is known as the meeting room. My higher self creates this, so you can describe it as a subspace or a pocket universe that is 10 dimensional. And then there's an agreement that the higher self is going to be working with us. So usually the higher self is ready, knows what's happening, and meets us there. Sometimes they're banging on the door, going, "Let me in! Hurry up! Create the meeting room," because we do create the meeting room each and every time, just to make sure we don't have any unwelcome visitors. So it is a new place each and every time. Sometimes the higher self isn't there. And so my higher self has to go around and search for the client's higher self, find them, and then bring them to the meeting room and explain what is about to occur. So then my higher self and the client's higher self will meet here and we explain the game plan. This pocket universe can be anything you want to be. It can literally, you can create it and be anything you want. Usually the higher self knows the client and will create a very peaceful environment where the person can be very comfortable. And this is all done before the session even begins. And then we begin the session and take the person into a deep state of hypnosis. And at the appropriate time, when I know the client is ready, I ask them to simply see a tunnel forming above them. And then I guide them on going through the tunnel. I have the ability to consciously astral project. Some people call it remote viewing. I don't want to get into a bunch of technicalities, but I can be here on Earth and I can project myself, my soul, my consciousness through the tunnel, but my higher self is up here the whole time waiting for us. So at the appropriate time, I will guide the client through their tunnel, and at that time, I go through my tunnel, and we meet here, and the higher self at that time comes down through this. I'll just call them tunnels. You can call them wormholes, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call them tunnels. Words are words. Let's not get all technical. So the higher self will come through as we're coming up, and we meet here. The issue I'm having is a lot of folks. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I just went through this tunnel. Now I'm like in this space here," and they kind of trip out, and they tend to get a little stuck here because they just went through a rather bizarre experience, something they have never experienced before. So it takes them a minute to get acclimated there. Once they're acclimated and feeling good, some folks just keep on buzzing. They just keep on going up, no problem, easy peasy. That tends to be less than half. So from here, um, we chill out. I talk to the client, guide them some more, get them connected to the higher self, so the higher self and them become fully integrated in one, and then they gently drift up through this tunnel and come out into the meeting room where they're greeted by most folks have their soul family here. So probably 90% of the time, the person's soul family is here waiting to greet them. And my higher self is here as well. Occasionally, my client will get really stuck here. And then, with permission, my higher self will come down through the tunnel and, with permission, yank them both up through the tunnel. But we eventually get here to the meeting room every time, as long as the client's prepared and willing and, wanting to do this type of work and have this kind of let's call it a adventure. I call it the e-ticket ride at Disneyland. Giving my age away, you probably don't know what an e-ticket is, but anyway. So then, as I mentioned, most folks greet their soul family. A lot of emotions happen, a lot of joy. Some people have tears, smiles on their faces. It's a beautiful homecoming, welcoming, just a truly beautiful experience. And then, and then the room may turn in. Some people, it's a forest scene, a park, something they're comfortable with. I mean, this meeting room can be anything you want it to be. I'm just letting you know, majority of the time, people are greeted by their soul family. But different things happen depending on what what the higher self deems is most beneficial and appropriate for the client. So the client's higher self is the one who's in control of the meeting room and sets everything up. When the soul family comes in, they usually come in, well, kind of like through, I guess, this little hole, and they pop in. So they kind of come in through the back door, the soul family. So once the client is comfortable, then I ask because this is the person's higher self here, and their soul, their consciousness. And I ask the ego, the consciousness, or the soul, if it's comfortable, if it's okay hanging out here while the higher self comes back down through the tunnel and integrates back into the body, takes control of the client's vocal cords, and then is able to speak. Once that's established and there's a complete agreement, the higher self will come down and get integrated into the body and take control of the person's vocal cords while the soul and the consciousness are up here chilling and having a good time. This allows pure uninterrupted session where the higher self can speak without the background noise of the ego, because the ego, the consciousness, tends to do a lot of chitter chattering. It's like, oh, this isn't working. This is a bunch of BS. This you're making it all up. This isn't true. And the ego tends to throw, or the conscious mind throws a lot of doubt into the session. So this way, we get the ego on board, and the conscious self, the soul, we get it on board to just chill out, relax, and then the higher self comes down. You'll have it is a short session. It's designed to be 1 hour, start to finish, but I can get through 10 questions if they're simple questions. We typically will ask the higher self. You'll come in with a list of 10 questions, and questions, the burning questions that you want to be answered, and it can be anything you want, that you want to ask your higher self. If you don't like that word, I call it, let's play the game where you can be at the throne of God and ask God 10 questions. Think of it that way. So you have 10 questions, and the higher self, and the session, of course, is recorded so the client can listen to it later, because the client doesn't know what's going on. Their soul and consciousness is up here, and we're down here. And of course, I have the ability to be in the physical form, and I can astral project, and I can pretty much be anywhere I want at any time. I have that gift and that ability, and it's true. So then, once the higher self comes in and is established, and I have permission to speak with the higher self, the higher self will begin asking the client the questions that they want answered. Again, with this method, we completely bypass all the past life stuff. So if you do have a past life question, it has to be one of your 10 questions. And then we can ask the higher self to, go through space and time to that time and answer past life questions if you're still interested in that type of work. It's not nearly as effective as QHHT. If you want to do past life stuff, you need to do QHHT. I'll just tell you that blunt right now. The Dolores Cam method is far superior to what I'm talking about. And then after the person's done, we get their questions answered. Then I do what I call the soul harmonics technique, where we do body scans head to toe, and we look for any issues that need to be addressed. Some people, might have attachments. Some people have illnesses. Whatever it is, we address what's going on with the body. And then I guide the client, and I've made my self hypnosis tapes available on YouTube. It's also on my website, which is www.soulharmonics.net, and I'll put that in the description as well, where you can, if you can't find YouTube, go to my website, click down to the video section. You can listen to my Soul Harmonics self hypnosis tape. That is only 30 minutes. I thought it was going to be an hour, but because I'm not interacting with the client, it was half the time, so it was only 30 minutes. So you can also get an idea of what that's like. So then I guide the higher self through healing the body. We typically, do the pineal gland and the brain and the heart, nervous system, the organs, cells, the whole 9 yards. We completely go through the body, doing an overhaul. We work on the DNA, get everything, as I say, fired, all electricity turned back on the way it was originally designed and intended to be. In other words, excuse me, it's a very holistic approach to healing the entire body, the what I call the biological unit. Once that is accomplished, then we ask the consciousness, the soul, to come back down the tunnel to reintegrate into the body, and then we very gently take you out of the hypnotic state, get you grounded back into this reality, so that you can continue about your day. Oh shoot, I forgot one diagram. So once we go through the tunnel, I forgot this one. This is where a lot of people tend to get stuck, and then we continue to go through the tunnel to the meeting room. And it looks like she tried to draw kind of like two people there. So, yeah, um, that is in a nutshell what the soul harmonics technique is. It does take a high level of imagination. You do need to have an overactive imagination. You have to be willing to accept, say to yourself that all this is just a bunch of BS and I'm using my imagination and I'm just going to go on an imagination journey and just having a very interesting experience. And if you go into it with the idea that none of this is going to be real, I'm just going to go on like a roller coaster ride and have a nice, interesting time. Then when you come from that mindset, it tends to make the session work a little bit better for folks because this is something that most people don't do every day. Even the QHHT method, if you go into it with that attitude, it tends to help. But then, of course, we go into much greater detail. This is just the quick synopsis, and I'm not doing it nearly the justice that I should. But this is intended to be a short, sweet, and quick video. Now, another thing we can do, if you're not interested in having your higher self integrate back in the body and ask questions, have it answer questions, and if you're not interested in doing the whole healing thing, let's say you just want to explore the universe, you can do that. It's your session. You can do anything you want. So once we get to the meeting room, you and the higher self, you can stay here and project anything in reality into this room, and you can visually see it. Or I've been pretty much everywhere in the universe, believe it or not. I am Harmony, 1 of 15, harmonizer of the universe. I have a map of the whole universe. I don't get lost. I know my way around. So if there's somewhere you want to go from here, it's because you're with me and my higher self, and we are very protected. We know what we're doing. It's perfectly safe. We can astral project out of this room and go anywhere in the entire universe. Some people want to go to the Akashic records. I always say that name wrong. The thing I needed to tell people is there's a fake one, and that's where everybody's going. The enemy has set up a fake Akashic, whatever that word is, records room, and it's all fake information. So, but I know where the real room is, the real records, and I can take you to the real records if you want to read the Akashic. Oh, I said that wrong. I got to learn how to say that one day. But I can take you to the real records. If you want to go, I had a client that wanted to see how the Earth was formed, so we traveled back in time and watched the Earth being formed. Maybe you want to go remote view the Earth and see if it's a globe or flat Earth. Maybe you want to go to Mars and see if there's really colonies on Mars. Maybe you just want to go to another galaxy and check out some folks there and see how they live. You can do that with this method, and you can also do it in a QHHE session as well. Dolores doesn't. She didn't teach me that method, but anyway, what I'm saying is once we're here, anything's possible. We can do anything you want. It's just I recommend having the higher self come back down and answer, have your life burning questions answered, and we heal the body. That is my intent. But maybe you've already had some QHHT sessions. Maybe you've already done this kind of work, and maybe you just want to go on a journey in the universe. Take a e-ticket ride on, say, treat it like a ride at Disneyland is what you really can do. I don't mean to diminish it, but I'm just speaking the truth. You can do anything you want with this method. The sky's the limit. There might be something I haven't thought of yet, and you can run it by me, and I'll say, yeah, that's something we can do, or that's something we can't do. Right now, I have the. So head on over to soulharmonics.net. Let me see here. I grab this here. When you go to the site, if you have your volume up, there'll be some cool music that comes on. You can read about me. You can hit the learn button, learn more about me. This is my little welcomes you contact form. My oops, the music's going on now. My acronym, let it flow easily. That's my acronym for life. I kind of a book's been written about me, so you can read about that. There's a link to the book. I talk about what to expect on your visit. I talk about the misconceptions of hypnosis. That's very important to read. Here's my YouTube. You can visit. Here's a link to my YouTube channel. I do offer sliding scales if you're interested in that. I do have a Patreon page for private videos that I don't release to the public. Here's some testimonials so you can read what my other clients have said about me. There's the book an appointment link if you want to book an appointment. I got my contact form, so you can use the contact form if you want. Send me an email. This is what quantum healing hypnosis therapy is. A little bit right up on that. This is the video I was talking about. This is my self-hypnosis video if you want to watch that or listen to it, really. It is hypnosis. Don't listen to it while you're driving a car, do anything hazardous, etc. All that disclaimers. This is an actual demonstration of the soul harmonics technique. So if you want to listen to a live client while we're in the healing phase of the session, it is not an entire session. It's the healing phase alone in this client it's 40 minutes long. It was just the healing part was 40 minutes. That was a little bit longer session than I would normally do. If you come see me, you can do a live feed and have your friends watch you. So I know some women are concerned about coming to a strange man's house. So you can live stream the thing to a friend of yours so they can, you can turn on your camera and as you knock on my door and have the camera running the whole time until you leave. So if you help you feel safer, I know that is a concern with some women. It's a legitimate concern. This is the music that's playing. This is how to prepare for your session. So this is how to prepare for a session. And then you can just, I'm not doing really, you can, subscribe if I do emailers or something like that. Here's my contact information again, and you can follow me on YouTube. So there it is. I look very forward to helping people out because, did I forget to screen share? Oh no, I gotta do this whole thing again. Looks like I forgot to hit the screen share button. Well, in the case that I forgot to hit the screen share button, I guess God bless, peace, everybody. Until next time, be well.